Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. My name is Roxanne Wilson. And do you have an intro yet?
I don't. This is Taryn, and I'm working on it. All suggestions welcome.
That works. You told me you had one.
I had a really good one. I was literally practicing in the car. And like, I probably should write this down, but I'm driving. So I didn't. I'm like, well, I'll remember it. Yeah, I've had 2 babies. I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
In relation to usually like my life, that kind of thing, like work stuff, I'm a pin sometimes. But no, it's gone and it was so good.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. We're trying to give her intro a makeover, which leads us into the topic of today, which is, do you need a makeover? You know, we've talked about on the podcast that we're not a big like resolution person. We're a big word person. Mine is epic, like epically fantastic. And yours is
allow.
Yes. And we're all about that, but that doesn't mean that sometimes we don't need a makeover. And so it is the first month of the year. We're going to talk about makeovers, specifically what you might need to make over to get to where you want to go in 2022 in your business. I thought we just roll right into it. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
And if you're watching, I do look a little bit sweaty today. It has to do with my makeover because my makeover is I'm going to look snatched. That's probably a little extreme, but I am ready to like shed the pounds that I've gained. I'm over it.
And we're going to announce this new body with our brand photo shoot, a little behind the scenes. Watch out. We hired an amazing photographer and we're stepping it up and some brand photos are coming and Roxanne's going to be looking snatched.
Yeah. And it's not about me looking snatched. It's not what the brand photo shoot is about, but it's just like it's just next leveling the brand in general. But since it's coming up, I'm like, well, that's another reason why I probably should get rid of these. I think it's like 20. I'm not joking. 20 pounds.
Well, I can't tell. So, I mean, I only see you from the shoulder up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you don't hold it in your face.
Yeah. My shoulders are like Michelle Obama's shoulders. So like, you just don't know what's going on down below. But I got up this morning. I did kickboxing on the Peloton, not the Peloton class.
Wow.
And then I did a 15-minute Peloton, cycling class. I have a trainer. I got back with my trainer. We're back together. So at least the month of January, I'm going to work out every day. What I realized, and Scott always says this about me, and I didn't realize it. And I guess it's true. I was talking to my dad this holiday. I was like, wait, I think that's true. I go like balls to the walls on something for like 90 days. Do you know this about me?
I was literally just going to say that as your integrator. You do. When you are in, you are all in every single day, all or nothing. And then when you peter off, you're like nothing. And I'm just calling it out. I don't know if that's bad.
No, I don't think it's bad. I think we do need to learn these things about ourselves. And like Scott always says that to me, and I take it as like an insult. He's like, "Oh, you're just going to do it for like 90 days." And I'm like, so insulting. And then I was talking to my dad someone was saying that about him. We were at the Rose Bowl and someone was saying, he goes all in because my dad is like, but he's like, he wants to get rid of belly fat. So he's like YouTubing like belly, like we all say this, he goes extreme. He'll eat like extreme, all these things, and then he's over it. And I'm like, oh, I'm just like my dad. However, I've decided it can be a positive thing. I think if you learn these things about yourself, you can actually use them to your benefit. I know that I'll go balls to the walls, like I'm all about it for 90 days, sometimes longer than that. But let's call it 90 days. That means I can get to a really amazing spot and then maintain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. So,
well, and let me go a little deep on this. Okay. When you set your goals or like, say you're like, okay, I'm ready to work out. I'm going to do it for 90 days. Is your why you're doing it more superficial? So then it can't keep you in that prolonged state. So like think of Instagram. Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to go on Instagram, they're going to be consistent on the time for 90 days because they want to get XYZ customers. And then they kind of peter out because maybe like they needed to go deeper in like why they're doing their Instagram strategy.
Yeah. So that's a good point. And I think Here's the thing. I think if you're someone who needs, like, if you need more, well, if first of all, you have a short time period, that's one. Or if you someone who needs to see results faster, then you probably are someone who wants to go balls to walls like me, right? Because I see results and then it's like, okay, I just need to figure out the maintaining portion of it. But I think I get so excited about something that I want to be like, I'm in, where I should probably just like, okay. So like this time around, now that I know this about myself, I am not rushing to do like the 30-minute classes, for example, on Peloton. I'm like, let me do a 15-minute class here, a 15-minute class there. I just want to work out every day. Now with my trainer, it's an hour long, but the reason I have my trainer is because I hate, like with a capital H, capital 8, I hate the gym. I hate it. I know that's shocking because I taught jazz dance for 15 years, but I hate it. The machines and stuff won't do it. 39 minutes in, I look at the clock and I'm like, I'm not done yet. And she's just like, I don't love it. But I know that if I'm paying her and I have to go meet her, I'll go do it. And she knows I hate it. She knows I hate it, but I do it. So sometimes I think it's finding, if you know you're someone who needs to be doing something and you just don't feel like it, sometimes we have to do things we don't enjoy, right? Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's when like you find someone who can hold you accountable or a tool that can hold you accountable. Like there's so many ways around it.
Totally.
Now.
Totally. I mean, I think I think, oh, I just got scared. My dog is right there. Apparently Scott and Baylor got up because I looked down and Baylor's like, hi, good morning. Hi. So I think that maybe that's part of like getting a coach for something, right? I get a trainer because I know I need to work out. Got a trainer. I've got my Amanda Nybert like eating program. And I'm like, let's get this in. I'm not going to be, now I will admit, because I told you 2 days ago, what I tell you, I said, this is dry January.
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't last.
Roxanne, already?
It wasn't.
I told you my tip. I was like, drink a sparkling water if you're craving like a cocktail. You know that you'd be surprised. Just holding that sparkling water does the trick.
I heard you because Sarah doesn't drink. But here's what happened. I went out to have a meal with a friend.
Oh, that's the hardest.
Yes, and I texted her on the way, and I was like, because I got off work, and I was like, okay, it's dry January. She's like, too late. And I'm like, oh man, she already ordered me a drink. And she's like, I can't drink it alone.
Like, that I agree. That's the hardest. Like with girlfriends, like that's when it's like, oh my gosh, it's fun. And
it was sitting at the table. Yeah. I didn't need it, but I thought it was going to be rude. So I did drink it. I've only had one drink and I was told Scott, I'm like, I had one. I had a drink. So, I mean, it was, again, it's not like I craved it. I wasn't craving it, but I was like, well, you know, it's about progress, not perfection. There you go.
Yes. Yes.
So also with my trainer, we have a challenge and we had to like weigh in and do that in-body thing that tells you about your whole system. And now there's an app and she had us take pictures, you know, like where you wear a little bikini top and like shorts. And at first I was like, Scott, will you take him from me? I'm like, I don't want him to see me like this. I want him to see me snatched. So like, not that he doesn't see me, but anyhow, I took him yesterday morning and I was like, okay. And this is all leading somewhere because this is my big like makeover. I do wonder, well, first, what are you making over? Are you making over anything right now?
This is, actually, I'm making over my money mindset. But with my word allow, I actually did not intentionally sit down and do like any goal planning or like structuring because I'm kind of just letting things come to me right now, which is very, very unsettling.
You are so structured that this is big.
I am. But if anything, the pandemic taught me that I need to go with the flow. So I'm going to try to embody it this year and go with the flow. And even like my husband's getting potentially a new job. I can't really say much. Well, by the time this podcast comes out, I can. But so I'm going with the flow with what it's going to look like with him going back to work because he's been staying home with our babies. And so in all of that, the only thing that I'm really making over right now is my money mindset. That's
a huge thing. That changes everything. It really does. I did that a couple years ago with, James Wedmore. And I found it's amazing when you decide that money is not the enemy or that it's not in scarcity, how you live your life differently when you're not always thinking, oh my gosh, will I have enough money? When you just allow the possibility that the money's coming and the money's flowing to you and through you. That's huge.
It's huge. And it's just like breakthrough after breakthrough. And I'm still very much in the point where I'm like, okay, I see these limiting beliefs I have. I don't really know what to do about them yet, but stay tuned. We'll see.
Here's a little random thing, and then we'll get into the making over of our Instagram. One thing that Wedmore said that I thought was always so interesting, and I do, is like, when you have goals, like money goals or things, we have to be open to money coming in different ways. And he's always like, when you see a penny on the ground or you see like that, he's like, pick it up. I'm like, what? Because, like, find a penny, pick it up. But like, as we get older, we think to ourselves, ew, it's gross, it's dirty, I'm not going to pick it up. He's like, pick it up, because that's you accepting money. And that's money in your pathway, and money has come to you. And I'm like, he's like, that's a sign of more money to come. I'm like, that's interesting. But I will tell you, I've done it. I've started doing that ever since he said that. And lo and behold, like, money will show up in different places. Got one for you that's huge. I was sitting one day on a Saturday, it might've been a Sunday, working at my desk. I don't know why I'm typing at the desk. Like, I'm typing.
I get it. I see.
Right. And I looked out my window because, you can kind of see them right here. I have a wall of windows, right?
Yes.
I have a wall and a quarter of windows. And I'm like, what is that on my balcony? I'm like, is that money? So I go outside. There is a $50 bill on my balcony. I cannot make this up. The truth. I was like, okay, you better believe I picked that up.
Heck yeah.
It was just sitting there. Like, I'm like, what? And we're in California, Santa Ana winds, just sitting there, a $50 bill. But I do, whenever I pick up that money, I'm like, this is me receiving money, and money is coming and flowing to me. I don't know. I can't explain it. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And I enjoy it. So you might, next time you see like, just once he said that, I was walks, I'd find pennies on my walks and things. I was like, what? And I just,
I have a 3-year-old and he always sees like money on the ground and I'm like, oh, leave it. And now I'm just going to be like, let's pick it up.
Let's pick it up. Yep. And then hand sanitizer and you're good.
Yeah. Well, and to go off of this is like what I'm working on. And it kind of relates to money a little bit is, so with money, you have to be open to receiving, but how open are you to receiving like compliments or, when your friend is like, oh, I'll pay the bill. And you're like, no, like, you don't have to do that. I now switch and I'm like, thank you.
That is huge because it's all energy, right? When someone says something nice, that's like positive energy coming to you, and receiving that is just receiving other things. I like that. I like that a lot. So this is all leading to our Instagram, believe it or not, because I'm curious, when is the last, Taryn, I'm going to ask you this as we ask everyone in the Roxtalks community, when's the last time you looked at your Instagram profile and gave it a switcherooski, a makeover?
Mine?
Yours personally, yes.
Literally, probably when I had my daughter, because, I had like mom of Davy or something in my bio. So I was like, well, now I'm a mom of 2. So I do need to change that. And it's funny because literally I was interviewing someone yesterday for a position for one of my other clients. And she was like, oh yeah, I looked you up on social media. And I was like, oh my God, like I have nothing about my business. Like you would have no idea who I am by just looking at that. You would see I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I was like, do I need a little makeover?
And
so
how old
people
is your
know
daughter?
what I do. She's 1.5.
Okay. So it's been a year and a half since you looked. I think that that's most people. We do it and we set it and we forget it.
Yeah.
And I know, we just came off of doing the planning workshops for 2022. So many people had all these great goals they want to achieve. And the truth of the matter is, when you decide where you want to go, you have to start acting like that person.
Yes.
So if we want to be the grand poobah jubilee in our network marketing company, we have to start behaving and acting like the person now. We don't go, well, when I, because guess what? Then it's not going to happen. And the first way, and I don't mean fake it till you make it, but I mean like really get into that mindset. It's kind of like when you're talking about money and your money mindset, receiving $100,000. You didn't say you want to receive that, but I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
You have to start receiving the penny or the $50 to receive that, or the compliment or someone picking up your bill. So I think that like, if we're going to get to our goals and beyond, we have to start behaving like we're that person. If you want to attract those new team members to someone who's a leader. I remember one of one of the members who was there, she said she's really stepping into her leadership this year. Like she's like, I'm realizing, forget the imposter syndrome. I am a leader. And I said to her, okay, well, in 2022, when we do our sessions, because she and I meet like once a week, I'm like, our first focus is like making sure that we're setting you up as that leader in social media. So when people look, they're like, oh my gosh, she's a leader. Like, I want to be on her team. If you're saying that you want to recruit 48, 32, 21, 5 people this year, does your Instagram embody someone who seems like a leader that I'm like, oh, I want to be on her team?
Yeah. Just like an interview. Would you go to an interview wearing what I'm wearing right now? You know, some Cody sweater,
my workout
slippers on.
Yeah.
Would I go to an in-person interview wearing this, expecting to land $100,000 job? Probably not. So just like think like that for your Instagram, your bio, when people land on your page needs to present in what you want.
Yeah.
You might not be it fully yet. And I don't think it's deception, because I feel like sometimes with social media, like when you look at someone's account, like you're like, oh, I'm only seeing the good things, and that's deceiving. And I don't agree with that. Like you're embodying like an emotion you want other people to feel, and you can do that on social media. You
can. Yeah. I mean, there's a level of you want to be real, but I think that you showing your best self is not a fake thing. It's when you're like, right. I don't even have a dog, but I borrowed this dog for the picture, that it gets a little questionable. I do have a dog. It's true. I promise. But I think, we have to look at it. Now, I know that sometimes you look at your social media and we start like, look at your picture. Is your picture exude what you sell? And I don't mean put your product in your picture. That is not what I mean. But like, does it see, if you are looking sad and like dreary and you're trying to sell like light and sunshine, that doesn't work, or vice versa. So like, there's so many things you can look at, but I know for myself, I don't know, maybe it's because I used to watch like The View, because I wanted to be the 20 something on The View when it first came out. And I've always wanted to be a talk show host. So I think because of that, I watch a lot of talk shows. And the makeover part, people love the makeovers. But you know what they love about the makeovers? They love the makeover because it makes them feel better, but they also love the makeover because somebody else made them over.
Ooh.
You get me? Well, because I think we are all like, I don't know. I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, I need to change such and such. Tell me what to change. We're working on the branding, right? I'm like, okay, branding photographer, you tell me. Like, you live your life so much. You want someone from the outside to look and go, oh, zhuzh this up, put these curtains up.
Yeah.
Which leads me to our makeover. Yeah. Well, because it's so important. Instagram is so important for your business. You guys know that. And if you haven't changed made over your Instagram in the last, I'm going to say 30 days. Ooh. I am going to say 30 days. You haven't done it in the last 30 days. It's time. Because the world changes so quickly, and you've got your goals right now for 2022. We've got to make you look like the person that you're becoming, the person that you truly are.
Yes.
So we're going to do a makeover.
Step 1, start with a makeover.
Have lots of fun. Step 2.
We'll be dancing. Well, Roxanne will. I will not be. Yeah. And singing. But even I feel like, let's talk about our account. Does our account probably need a makeover? Yeah.
Obviously.
Right?
I'm just kidding.
Hey, I actually did it not too long ago.
I was kidding.
But yes, like even.
Well, it does need a makeover. The pictures are stale. Let me just say it the way it is. And that's me. Like, me posing for pictures is not my idea of fun time. I do like to take pictures, but they're all the dang same. I need official pictures. This is why we're doing it. I think that is the big thing that needs to change on our page. Don't you?
I'm really loving the beach pictures we have right now.
I love them.
I'm feeling them and I'm embracing them. But I'm just thinking like how we want, like if we want someone to come to our account, like what do we want them to feel? Like we're really leaning into that part of the makeover. Like what do we want them to feel? What emotions are we bringing up for them? And I'm excited for that.
You got me singing. It's just emotions taking me over. Do you know that song? No. Caught up in sorrow, lost in your touch. But if you don't come back, come home to me. You have no idea. No version.
What's the chorus? Can you sing the chorus?
That is the chorus. It's just
yeah, no.
taking me over. Caught up in sorrow. Okay, well, if you know it, please DM me, Roxtalks on Instagram, because I'm here alone in a silo with, you don't know either version. Oh, okay.
No, but I feel like, is it on our playlist? The Roxtalks
No, because
playlist.
It's a little sad. Caught up in sorrow, lost in your touch. But if you don't come back, come home to me, darling. Don't you know there's nobody left in this world to hold me tight? Nobody left in this world to kiss.
Still don't got it.
Night, good night. Okay, well, I'm sorry.
I keep getting all kinds of pop culture homework from Roxanne. I am currently watching Selling Sunset and Selling Tampa.
And what do you think?
I've only watched 2 episodes.
Of both?
Of just Selling Tampa.
Okay.
And there was too many children yelling. And I was like, I cannot fully enjoy this reality TV show if you're killing my vibe. So I'm gonna continue with my homework. I'm really excited for it.
We'll get back to that. Selling Tampa, which is the spinoff of Selling Sunset. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, when you watch it, we'll talk about it.
But I just need to quick say, like, that cut that they're now going to do 80-20 for their commissions or whatever. I was like, oh, this is some drama.
Such drama. But who announces that to everyone just like that? It's contrived a little bit, but 80-20.
Oh, yes.
Don't change my commissions. I know. Y'all need to watch it if you haven't. It's on Netflix. So emotion. You were saying we got to grab the emotion of like you want, and I love that. And we'll get into that during the makeover. Is like, what emotion? What are you selling? Which is PS. And by the way, it's not your product, it's yourself. But like, what is that? What does that look like? And how do we exude that in your bio, which y'all, those bios probably need some biodegradable. Let's start them over. Like help.
Let's just burn it down and start over. Yes.
Just like start it over. Your picture, huge. Your name. Ooh, I went there. Yeah, that's a big one.
What about Roxanne? Your handle.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I know that's hard to change.
Yeah. And I think the handles are less important than the name, but they do coincide and they need to go together. And there needs to be some discussion about them for sure. And that, darling, is that you? She doesn't know the song Emotions. Scott just walked in. She does not.
Scott already doesn't agree with me on things. And now.
What'd you say? No, he picked a different song. Never mind, some other one. Forget it. It's just me and the Roxtalks podcast listeners. Help me out there. Alas, also you were mentioning earlier the highlight covers.
Yes, highlight covers. When do you update them? How often do you update them? What should they be? Should they be all about your product?
Yeah, we need to do ours. We do ours, by the way.
We do.
So I feel like before this goes live, we should probably do that.
Ooh, update ours.
Yeah, before
add it to our long list of things.
Our plethora of things. Absolutely. So the list we've given you so far, we've mentioned the picture, the bio, the handle, the name, the highlights, and let's not forget the squares. The tiles.
The
feed, exactly.
Yeah, do they need to be as pretty and planned out as they used to be?
Good question. I feel like we've answered nothing here today.
We haven't.
But that's okay. Because we're going to
do it. And that's why you're coming to the makeover.
There we go. We're going to cover
And I think we
things.
do it together. You're saying we should have our highlight covers. I think we do it all together.
Okay. We can do it
You
together.
do it. We do it. Like, let's do it raw.
I love it. This is how it's going to work, y'all. 3 days. You and us, just you and us. We.
Oh no, here comes another song.
And sharing our love together. We're going to do it together. 3 days. It is free. Come one, come all. And invite other network marketers because we need to fix these things. And I'm not going to be, I'm not going to mince words. There's some things that need to just we need to get rid of. And I hope it's going to be this fun purging. Like it's going to be our makeover cleaning. But like when you watch the makeovers, the woman doesn't want to cut her hair. She says she'd never cut her hair. And then she goes on TV and she lets that makeover person like chop her hair. It's like that.
And then she just like looks amazing. And you just see like this like different version of her. And you're like, oh my God, why didn't you cut your hair before?
Exactly. So the things you'd say you never change and you're hanging on to real tight. We didn't mention the link, by the way. We didn't mention the link. Yeah, that's on there too.
Yeah.
All those things that you've been hanging tight onto, like holding tight, like your long hair, your crystal gale hair, we're going to cut it and make it better. Now, here's the thing. I know you want to hang on that thing and you love it dearly. Come anyway. If you make, I'm going to go on the limb. If you make 20% of the changes that we're going to walk you through, it is going to be better. Love for you to make 100, but if you make 20% of them, it's going to be fantastic. And here's the other thing I learned when I was dating some guy I should have been dating. And someone said, and I didn't believe him, but then I realized it was right. Like if you hang on to that bad boyfriend or that hair that needs to go or that whatever you're putting on your social media, because you're just afraid of letting that go. Like, what if I don't let that go, they won't know that I sell that product. They won't know. And so you hang on tight to it. When you let it go, it opens up the world for all sorts of other great things to come in. It allows it with the bad boyfriend. When you get rid of the bad boyfriend, all of a sudden you see all these other great guys. Like, where were you? I was right here.
Yes. Close the door. And I promise we will open some windows.
Yes. And
we're not locking the air in.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So how do we get a socialstoriesmembership.com/makeover? Y'all, 3 transformative days. We're not going to take all of your daytime. Trust me. Ain't nobody got time for that. But we're going to walk you through some minor things that you can do to make major differences in your social media. This is who it's not for. It is not for the person who has so many people on their list, they just can't take another person. Like they're like, I don't want any more team members. I don't want any more clients. I don't want anyone else on my list of prospects. I've got too much. My cup runneth over. If that's you, this is not for you. But if you would like more people, if you realize that your goals require you to meet more people, then let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. That is a song, Taryn. And make sure that we have your front door, your storefront, your curb appeal in such a way that the people that you are looking to attract want to go in.
Yeah. They're not just window shopping. They're ready to come in.
Well, yeah. Or, it's like when someone's like, this is this really good place on 7th and the freeway. It's great for food. And you're like, what? That dump? I never would have thought, no, really, really go in. I know the curb appeal sucks, but go in there. Like you want your curb appeal to be so good. You don't have to rely on people convincing people to go eat your food.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
I agree. And I just have one nugget I'm going to say.
Nugget.
Come ready to take action because we're about action this year.
We are. Epic action.
Epic action. And sometimes epic action is only picking up the penny.
That's right. Because it opens the door to many things. Should we call this the epic makeover? Can we just use epic everywhere?
Epic IG makeover.
Epic IG makeover. I like it.
Yes. Let's just rename the brand to Epic Roxtalks. For the year.
The Epic Roxtalks podcast.
I'm Epic Taryn.
And I am Epic Roxanne.
Okay.
We need help.
Bad idea. I'm glad you guys were here for that.
I'm sorry you're here for that. It's all good. So we'll see you very soon. When is this happening? You're probably wondering.
Yes. When is it happening, Roxanne?
It's a Thursday, like the last Thursday of January. What day is that? I don't know.
The 27th.
So good. 27th. Mark your calendars, 27th. Be there and get ready to get into action, like Taryn said. And we're going to make this happen for you.
Yes.
Great.
Can't wait to make it happen. Yeah. It's already decided. You're going to make it happen.
Tis done. Well, let's slide into behind the scenes because this is our first podcast. Like, Happy New Year. I haven't seen you in the podcast world
since yesterday.
I know. So I was like, oh. I haven't seen you on the podcast since last year. How about that?
Yes. Happy podcast New Year.
Happy podcast New Year. How were your holidays? Were they good?
They were good. We were home for about half of them. We got sick halfway through. So just to be safe, we came back home, quarantined, got the test negative, all that good stuff. But it was kind of nice to just like hang out at home. And then, so by the time the new year kicked off, we went and got to hang out with our family again. And we had a blast. We did a toast at like 8 p.m. and then we all went home and it was great.
I love that. I think more and more people toast not at midnight. Isn't that funny?
Like when
like, I wait till midnight. And I was like, Happy New Year.
Like in Chicago, like when I lived there, I was in a different time zone. So it's like I would do like the Eastern midnight and then I would do Chicago midnight and it was so fun. And I was like up till who knows when, and you wake up and you're still going. No, that's not me.
I used to even do Sydney's, like Sydney, yay! Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you had a good holiday. I went to Vegas, which was fantastic. Had a wonderful time with my family, and I wanted to my dad always. We always did these trips, and he always just all around the world, and they've been great. And I was like, I want to show him my appreciation. So I planned everything. And I had an itinerary and I made it on Canva and it looked amazing. It made it a website because, I know how to do those things. Sent the links, hyperlink to the restaurant reservation and the spa day, all these things. Do you think any of these heifers looked at them?
They didn't?
My little sister Rochelle did. Sorry, she did. No one else opened the dang itinerary. They kept asking me questions like, it's in the itinerary. My dad would be like, is there a place we can go? What do they do when they shoot balls when it's not the driving range? I'm like, yes, it's on page 12 of the itinerary. So it became
I thought you were talking about fireworks. I was like, shoot balls, what?
That thing. And he was like, well, Roxanne, I just trust you. So I know. I'm like, whatever, Dad. You're not checking. I made it a website. They could slide through it. Anyway, it was a great, all the things that I knew that he would love and my family would love. It was great. We went to this Christmas show that was put on. It's called This Is Christmas. And they had singers from the second and third and then maybe fourth season of American Idol, back when American Idol was amazing, back in the day.
Oh my God, fun.
And they sang all these Christmas songs. You name a Christmas song you want to hear, they sang it. I mean, they were killing it. And so that was really awesome. And what I did is I got tickets at the very front. They had these little tables. And so my dad and my sister were front, boom. And then my sister and my nephew were next to them. And then they wouldn't sell singles. So I was a few rows back. And my dad kept going, Roxanne, come up. I'm like, no, I want you guys to enjoy it. So it was just it was fun. And then we went to good restaurants. And by the way, nachos. Did you see my nachos on Instagram? Yes.
And nacho is my love language. So I'm like, what?
Everybody look up Nacho Daddy. The receptionist at my nail salon told me about it when I told her I was going to Vegas. Nacho Daddy, which is hilarious. It's not just in Vegas. They're everywhere. There's never a dry chip. There's 5 or 6 locations. Never a dry chip. So I ate the whole plate. I didn't have one dry chip. Nacho Daddy, which is funny. Nacho Daddy. I'm Nacho Daddy.
I am looking this up and I don't know where my next vacation is going to be, but it's going to be where Nacho Daddy is.
It was so good. And then of course, Spa Day was amazing. Love it. We can talk about that one day, but oh my gosh, you have to go to the Candy Ranch Spa. Amazing. Amazing. They put you in this cocoon. It's amazing. Anyway.
I should add this to my list of things I want to do this year.
You have to. That spa was everything. My favorite spa I've ever gone to. Must go. They put you in a cocoon and you lay there. Anyhow, it's a whole thing. It's a vibe, as the young kids would say. And then we went to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl, which of course last year we couldn't go. It was canceled. They did the game elsewhere, but we did the parade and I got to tour the parade floats and all those great things. And then of course the game, which was amazing. But you know what the best part was? Because Scott has kids, right?
Yeah.
Scott has a daughter and a son. And when I was we were at the VIP tailgate before the game, and I'm walking in with one of our friends, and she's like, "Oh, everyone's freaking out about The Bachelor," and I was like, I'm like, oh, he is right there. So I take a picture, like I take a stalker picture of him because I was just going to send it to Scott. And because he wasn't there at that moment. And then someone was up, there's these people, they're like, no, you need to get a picture with him. I'm like, no, I do not need a picture with him. They grabbed my phone and pushed me up to him. So I'm like looking up this guy who's like 6'5". I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, and they're like, will you get a picture with her? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I get this picture, which I look like a dork. And I didn't even realize I had my hat on because it was cold that morning. I don't like that hat typically, but when it's cold, you got to do what you got to do. And so I'm like, hey, and I talked to him a little bit about like after the rose ceremony. He's very nice because they gave him a hard time. If you watch The Bachelor, they gave him a hard time on after the rose. So we talked a little bit. He's like, yeah, I have a good sense of humor. And anyhow, and I'm like, well, good luck. Enjoy yourself. And we took a picture. So I send it to Scott and he sends it to his daughter, who is a junior in college. And all of a sudden I get this text back, you met Clayton? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh my gosh. She freaked out. I'm now the coolest person in the world. And then he ended up sitting right like 2 rows behind us. So I'm like,
no way.
He's like, go ask him who wins. I'm like, I'm not going to ask him who wins because he's not going to tell me. But she was like all up. She's like, you know, the season starts this day and blah, blah, blah. And she was all about it. So now I'm like super cool. So there's that. Yeah.
Look at you. Like you had just like the most magical time off. You win Christmas because my story is so not as cool. And New Year's.
Yours was great. But it was.
Now I'm just curious how tall you are because I saw that picture and I was like, wow, Roxanne's really short.
How tall do you think I am?
I don't want to play this game. I'm really bad at it.
It's fine. I'm not offended. It's fine.
I'm just going to go with 5'6".
Oh, everyone always thinks I'm taller than I am. And I think that's because when you have a big personality, people think you're tall. I am 5'3" and some change. Truth.
Oh my God. I'm taller than you.
I think everyone is.
I would picture you taller than me.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, that's what people think. And he's like 6'5", I think, or 6. He's like 6.
Yeah.
6, I don't know, something where I'm like, gosh, this is like a real big height difference. This is awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm 5'3". True story. Mm-hmm. And some
crazy.
Change. Yeah.
And some change.
Alas, we've talked your ear off today because we've missed you so much and we cannot wait to do a makeover. What is that?
Yes.
That show's like Makeover. Is that Legally Blonde?
I don't know. I just think Princess Diaries.
That's
like,
coolest.
I'm just like, and here's a princess.
So
maybe I'm going to jump in and do this makeover with you because I feel like my account would probably be the biggest one to make over. So
come on.
I'm signed up.
I love it. All right, you guys, you rock the Casbah. Thanks for being with us. You're not ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And that is, of course, for the makeover on the 27th of October. Or January
of January 2022. Please don't wait till October.
socialstoriesmembership.com/makeover. And we'll see you next week for another exciting episode of Roxtalks. Bye.
Bye-bye.